deadlock detection. Now we have already studied about the deadlock prevention and avoidance of deadlock. So if these both conditions also deadlock is not avoided, still it is occurring. In spite of taking care of deadlock prevention, that is the four conditions which we have seen, mutual exclusion, no preemption, circular weight, and one more is the hold and wait. In spite of denying any one of these conditions and after avoiding using the different bankers algorithm examples like that, even if we cannot stop the deadlock, then deadlock will be occurring. So then we will go for detection of deadlock. Then how to detect the deadlock? Here we are using the two criteria, as you can say. So deadlock can be detected when there exists a single instance of each of the resource type, and deadlock can be again detected when there are several instances. So we are having here single instance of each resource will be there, means only one type of resource will be there. Then second instance. So the first one, in single instance, what happens here is, this is a resource allocation graph. This is a resource allocation graph. Here you can see that process P1 is requesting for R1, but this R1 is present with the P2. P2 is requesting for R4, but R4 is present with P3. P3 is requesting for R5, but R5 is present with P4. Like this, resource allocation graph is given here. So once the resource allocation graph is given, then you are drawing something called as weight graph. What is a weight graph? In the weight graph, we are having again the set of vertices and edges. Vertices will be these processes. Here resources are not involved. Okay, only we are having the processes here. So and what are the edges? Edges are those. For example, you can see an edge in the weight graph Pi to Pj exists only if Pi is waiting for Rj, but Pi is waiting for Ri, but Ri is present with Pj. When Pi is waiting for one resource, but that resource is present with Pj. So there will be an edge between Pi and Pj in such situation. Okay. So depending upon this, weight graph will be drawn. What is a weight graph? Weight graph consists of the vertices, which are the processes, and the edges will indicate the waiting of one process on another process. Here Pi is waiting for Pj to complete to get the resource Ri. So this is called as a weight graph. So in this given graph, let us see here now. So now P1 is waiting for R1, but R1 is present with P2, is it not? So directly P1 to P2 we are having an edge. Okay. Next, P2 is waiting for R4, but R4 is present with P3. So P2 and P3 there is one edge. Okay. P3 is waiting for R5. R5 is there with P4. So P3 to P4 one edge is there here. Okay. Next, for P4 is waiting for R2, but R2 is present with P1. So from P4 to P1 we are having one edge here. Next, P2 is waiting for R3, but R3 is present with P5. So there should be an edge between P2 and P5. So P2 and P5. So like this, weight graph is drawn. After drawing the weight graph, if there exists a cycle, then some cycle detection algorithm will be run, and if there exists an cycle, it means that deadlock has occurred. So we are detecting the deadlock in this method. Okay. First we are drawing its resource allocation graph, then its weight graph we are drawing. After drawing the weight graph, the cycle detection algorithm will be checked. That is not there in your syllabus, but the cycle detection algorithm will be invoked and checking for a cycle in this graph is made. If a cycle is present in this graph, then deadlock is detected. If no cycle, no deadlock. So this is how it happens in when there is only one instance. Now you can see only one instance. There are no dots in between here. Is it not? Dots means what? If I have like this, it means two instances of R5, but I don't have anything here. So it means one instance of R5 is present. Next, second method, when there are several instances, Means when there are more instances of the resource type, then how to do? That time they are using again same as that of the Banker's algorithm. They are running the Banker's algorithm. After running the Banker's algorithm, see, while solving the Banker's algorithm in our previous video, we did not get stuck anywhere. One by one we went on allocating the resources and found the safe sequence. But if there is a deadlock, it happens that we cannot allocate the resources. We get stuck while solving the problem. So when the Banker's algorithm is run and it cannot be completed successfully, that time it means that there exists an deadlock. This is the second method of how the deadlock is detected. So when there are several instances of a resource type, what is done? Banker's algorithm is run. If the Banker's algorithm executes successfully, then there is no deadlock. If it does not execute, it gets stuck in some step, then there is a deadlock present in that situation. So this is how deadlock detection can be done using two methods, when there is one instance and when there is several instances. Next, now you have detected, how do you recover from this deadlock? We are recovering using these two methods. One is aborting the processes and another is by preempting the resources which are present with the processes. What is preemption? Suspending that process for some amount of time, temporarily suspending that process. That is called as preemption. So for recovering from deadlock, we are using two methods. One is aborting the process, second one is resource preemption. In aborting the process, again we are having two types. Which are of those two types? Either we can abort all those processes which are causing deadlocks. Okay, we can abort all those processes which are causing the deadlocks. When you are aborting all those processes, again CPU will take time, overhead will be there, great expense in terms of CPU cycles. Then second method, we can abort one process at a time. After aborting one process, again we are checking whether there is a cycle in that graph. Means what? Cycle checking algorithm should be invoked. If there is cycle, again one more process you are going to abort. Then again check with the cycle. Then again abort, again check. So one by one you are going on checking. This is what is the advantage here. We are not aborting at once. There will be less CPU overhead. But what is the disadvantage here? It is time consuming. Because every time the cycle checking algorithm has to be invoked to check whether deadlock has opened or still deadlock is present. So this is the first method where you are aborting the processes which are causing the deadlocks, either all at once or one by one. Second method is resource preemption. In this resource preemption means what? See, when one process is executing and it is waiting for some other process, then a deadlock has happened. If you assume this scenario, if you assume this picture of a system, then what will happen is, if that process is stuck in the deadlock, then the resources which are present already with that process will be preempted. Those resources will be preempted, they will be taken temporarily. And what will be done with those processes? Those resources will be given to the other processes which are waiting. Since this process is already, for example P1, process P1 is stuck in a deadlock, it is having 10 number of resources. All these 10 number of resources are preempted, are taken, are withdrawn temporarily from that process P1 and they are given to some other process P5. Example, process P5. Why? Because P5 was waiting for this resource. Temporarily P5 is given these 10 number of resources. Means this process is made free and it is given to the other process. Once that P5 finishes its execution, then again those 10 processes can be taken and given to process number P1. So this is preemption temporarily of the resources of that deadlocked process. So when you are doing this preemption, you have to address some issues. What are those issues? That is selecting a victim, rolling back and starvation. Selecting a victim and starvation are connected to each other. See, whenever you are going to preempt the resources, whose resources have to be preempted? Means you have to select that target process. That selecting a victim. Okay, so when you are selecting a victim, you have to take care that it should be present in the deadlock and it should be having the resources or some other factors which are depending on the deadlock we have to be considered. Choosing that victim is very important. Suppose you are choosing the same victim again and again, what will happen? That process will go for starvation. Starvation means what? It will not get CPU for execution. So these two, selecting a victim and starvation, these also are an issues which should be considered when you are preventing the resources. Another is rollback. Rollback means what? See, whenever you are getting some error, you do refresh. So when you do refresh, that process will start from the beginning. Okay, but every time starting from the beginning is not the solution. So you sometimes you have to take care that you should start from a place till where it is safe. You have to start from a place till where it is safe, that is rollback. This rollback condition you studied in database. Okay, rollback means what? You are going to restart the process from a place till where it is in a safe situation. So that is rollback. Rollback should be considered. See, whether it should be started from the beginning or whether it should be started from some point, that is to be taken care. So these are the issues which you have to address when you are going to preempt the resources. That is selecting the victim, rollback and starvation. So this will complete your deadlock. We have studied about the basic concepts of deadlock, then deadlock characterization, deadlock prevention, deadlock avoidance, in that algorithms we have studied, then deadlock detection and recovery. This will complete your deadlock